who are you? If someone were to ask you that question, what's the first thing that comes to mind? I think instinctively we would respond by saying, well, my name is, or I'm from, or my parents are. But is that all you are? Like, who really are you? I would say that we are more than just our name or our birthplace or our lineage. I would say that we are the collection of our actions in history, in time. We are made up of those events and activities and places and things that we've done. And so when our reality is shifted, we come into this place of an identity crisis. We don't fully know or understand who we really are. An identity crisis is defined as a period of uncertainty and confusion in which a person's sense of identity becomes insecure, typically due to a change in their expected aims or roles in society. Has your identity changed since you've been at Princeton Theological Seminary? As I was preparing for this sermon and doing work for other classes, I came across something that really would cause me to have an identity crisis. In her book entitled Between Sundays, Dr. Marla Frederick did an ethnographic study of black women in rural North Carolina. And while I agree with her premise and her research, and I think it's very valuable to us, there were some points in her book where I could take exception. For example, on page 7, she says that women through empathetic and caring activities create communities of strength and healing. I agree with that. But I do that too. Am I a woman? She goes on to say women who work in certain places do not resist politically or with confrontation. Instead, in the midst of struggle, they create lives and sustain communities and develop opportunities for success. Is she only referring to women? Now, while my question is preposterous, and we all understand that she's not just referring to women, but since her study was dealing with women, she's talking about women, we can see how easily the conversation can be hijacked. Her study about black women, I can take it and say, well, what about men? What about me? What about us? And so then we go down this rabbit hole to a conversation that Frederick wasn't even speaking about. This would cause me to have an identity crisis. Friends, brothers, sisters, I believe we here in the United States has an identity crisis. We don't know who we are, but our history suggests that we're something that we don't want to be. It evidences itself when Colin Kaepernick can say, I refuse to stand for the national anthem, and people make the conversation about patriotism and a flag. It evidences itself when people cry, Black Lives Matter, and then others respond, all lives matter. Or finally, it can manifest itself when people say we need sensible gun control laws, and people respond, Second Amendment. Friends, brothers, sisters, I would say the United States is having an identity crisis. Who we appear to be is not who we want to be. But there's good news. In the book of 1 John, 3rd chapter, 1st through the 7th verses, it talks about a people who are like us. First verse says, see what love the Father has given us that we should be called children of God. And that's what we are. We are something that we don't really fully understand or know that we are. It goes on to say that the reason the world doesn't know us is because it didn't know Him. So we who stand in the gap, who stand against injustice, who call out those who are doing wrong, we may not look like the rest of the world, but that's okay, because we were called to be different. It also, verse 2 says, beloved, we are God's children now. What we will be has not yet been revealed. So we, as students, seminarians, we were something. We're becoming something. But what we're becoming, we are not yet. America, our history suggests that we were something. But there's this tension in the atmosphere, and we're becoming something that we are not yet. We still have the opportunity, we still have the possibility to change who we look like, who we used to be, as we become who God wants us to be. It says that we are God's children now. What we will be has not yet been revealed. What we do know is this: when He is revealed, we will be like Him, for we will see Him as He is. Who are we? Are we simply students? Are we simply observers? Or are we practitioners, theologians, scholars? Are we that yet? Or are we waiting? Where are you? Who are you when it comes to conversations and situations like those that I mentioned? Like criminal justice, like police brutality, like gun control. Who are you? Where do you stand? How does your faith manifest itself? Have you become all that you're going to be? I think we still have work to do. We as a nation, we still have work to do, because going on down, it says that, verse 3, and all those who have this hope in Him purify themselves just as He is pure. So we throw off those chains of oppression. We throw off those chains of discrimination. We throw off all of those things that keep us bound. Who are you? And what will you become? Who we are is not yet who we will be. But as we purify ourselves, we shall become just like Him and His representative.